And that concludes the court's explanation of the legal aspects of this case. And now, gentlemen of the jury, I come to my final instruction to you. Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You've listened to the testimony, and you've had the law read to you and interpreted as it applies to this case. It now becomes your duty to try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. If there is reasonable doubt, then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then you must, in good conscience, find the accused guilty. However you decide, your verdict must be unanimous. In the event you find the accused guilty, the bench will not entertain a recommendation for mercy. The death sentence is mandatory in this case. I don't envy you your job. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
Must be a light switch somewhere here. All right, gentlemen, take your seats. Please sit in numerical order. I'm going to be passing out to you some papers that the lawyers have put together for the judges. Please take a look at them carefully because they're going to be very important to our case. Welcome. Gentlemen, feel free to take your coats off, relax. We're going to be here a while.
Right, it's ready to fast. I gotta take you to the best game tonight. All right, y'all, start the show.
All right, gentlemen, how about everybody sitting down, sir? Just sit down, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the theory? A kid kills his body. Bam, just like that. Well, it's the oven. They let the kid run wild. They get deserve to.
Everybody here?
The old man's in the doctor.
So we'd like to get started, please.
Forgive me, gentlemen. I didn't keep you in.
It's all right, find a seat. All right, now you gentlemen can handle this any way you'd like. I mean, I'm not going to make any rules. If you want to discuss it first and then vote it, that's one way, or we can vote right now and see how we stand.
Let's roll down. Who knows? Maybe we'll all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right, let's vote now.
Is there anyone who doesn't want to vote? All right, those voting guilty, raise your hands. 11, 10. Those voting not guilty. 1. That's 11 to 1 for guilty.
Somebody's in the left field. You think he's not guilty?
I don't know.
I never saw a guiltier man in my life. You sat right in court and heard the same thing I did. The man's a dangerous killer. You could see it.
He's 19 years old.
That's old enough. He knifed his own father 4 inches into the chest. An innocent little 19-year-old kid. They proved it a dozen different ways. You want me to list them?
No. Well, do you believe the story? I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
What do you not guilty for?
They were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Well, it's easy for me.
No one.
What? Just because I voted fast? Think he's guilty. Continue on to talk for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind. I just want to talk for a while. Look, this boy's been kicked around all his life. You know, living in a slum, his mother dead since he was 9. That's not a very good head start. He's a tough, angry kid. You know why slum kids get that way? Because we knock them on the head once a day, every day. I think maybe we don't want to do it. That's all.
I don't mind telling you this, mister. We don't know what you think. You got a fair trial. I don't know that. No attorney will take for a man to leave. Since when is this honestly a good characteristic? You have no monopoly on truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. We don't need a sermon.
What the man said was very decent.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to be able to behave like gentlemen.
Right?
If we're going to discuss this case, let's discuss the facts.
I think that's a good point. We have a job to do. Let's do it.
If you gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to open the window.
I'm gonna have an idea here. I'm just thinking out loud on this topic. It seems to me that it's up to us to convince that gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. Maybe we each should get it and just try it on the side.
That sounds fair. Supposing we go around the table.
All right, let's start it off.
I guess you're first.
Oh, well, I just think he's guilty. I thought it was obvious. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant is not burden of evidence. That's in the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment. You proved it.
Oh, sure, I've heard of it. I know what it is. What I meant, well, anyway, I think he was guilty.
All right, let's get to the facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived on the second floor, right underneath the room where the murder took place. At 10 minutes after 12 on the night of the killing, he heard loud noises in the upstairs apartment. He said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid say to his father, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard a body falling, and he ran to the door of his apartment, looked out, and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death at around midnight, right?
Right. Now what else do you want?
The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies. It's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what pictures he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? She's absolutely right.
Look, what about the woman from the street? Her testimony will prove it. There's nothing does.
That is right. She saw the cat on the street.
Well, let's go in order.
Just a minute. Here's a woman who's lying in bed. Thinks it's hot, you know. Anyway, she looks out the window and right across the street, she sees her kid stick the knife into his body. No one can all look like the window is right off the street. Something else, and she's worried she can do it. The window is passing elevated train. Okay. And they proved in court that you can look through a window, passing L train at night and see what happens on the other side. They proved it. I'd like to ask you something. How can we believe her? She's one of them too, isn't she? You're a pretty smart fellow, aren't you?
Now take it easy.
Come on. What are you letting you all upset for? Just relax.
Let's calm down now. Number 5, it's your turn.
I'll pass.
You're right. How about you, number 6?
I don't know. I started to be convinced, with the testimony from those people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock. They heard his father hit the boy twice, and then saw the boy run angrily out of the house. What does that mean?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
Number 7?
I don't know, man. Most of this has been said already. I think we're wasting our time. I mean, look at the kid's record. At 15, he's put in reform school. He stole a car. He's been arrested for knife fighting. He got picked up. I think they say he stabbed someone in the arm. He's a very fine boy.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fist.
So would I. A kid like that.
You're right. It's the kids. The way they are, They don't listen. I've got a kid. When he was 8 years old, he ran away from the fight, and I saw him. I was so ashamed, I told him right out, "I'm going to make a man out of you, or I'm going to bust you up into little pieces trying." When he was 15, he hit me in the face. He's big to me. I haven't seen him in 3 years, that rotten kid. You work your heart out. All right, let's get on with it.
We're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he is a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, so do you. The children that come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of it. Believe me.
I've lived in a slum all my life.
Wait a second.
I used to play in a backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now let's be reasonable.
There is something personal.
Come on, he didn't mean you, fella. Let's not be so sensitive.
I can understand the sensitivity.
seemed interested. Too many questions were left unasked.
What about the ones that were asked? For instance, let's talk about that cute little switch knife. You know, the one that fine, upright kid didn't find.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here and look. I'd like to see it again, Mr. Foreman.
We all know what it looks like. I don't see why we have to look at it again. What do you think?
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
Okay with me?
The knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence, don't you agree?
I do.
The boy admits to going out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punch.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day when he admitted to selling it to the boy. It's a very unusual knife. The storekeeper identified it and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did the boy get it? As a present for a friend of his, he said. Am I right so far?
Right.
You bet he's right. Now listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
Next, the boy claims that on the way home the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket, that he never saw it again. Now there's a story, gentlemen. You know what actually happened? The boy took the knife home and a few hours later stabbed his father with it and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Now everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now are you trying to tell me that someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's house, and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No, I'm saying that it's possible that the boy lost it, and that someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife.
Take a look at that knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life, and neither had the shopkeeper that sold it to him. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not trying to make anyone accept it. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible. Whoa. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, what is this? What do you think you are? Look at it. It's the same knife.
All right, come on, let's go ahead.
Where'd you get it?
I got it last night in a little junk shop around the corner from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now listen to me. You pulled a real smart trick here, but you've proved absolutely zero. Maybe there are 10 knives like that. So what?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied, and you know it.
He may have lied. Number 10, do you think he lied?
That's a stupid question. Sure, he lied.
Number 4, do you?
You don't have to ask me. You know my answer.
Number 5, do you think he lied?
I'm not too sure.
Wait a second. Who are you, the guy's lawyer? Look, there's still 11 of us that think he's guilty. You're alone. What do you think you're going to accomplish? If you want to be stubborn, hang this jury until we tried again. Found guilty shows he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? You'll be here all night.
It's only one night. A man made that.
Well, whose fault is that?
Do you think maybe if we went over it again, what I mean is,
Did anyone force him to kill his father? I don't like it. So much force. But happiness is not that way.
don't force anyone. Listen, we can spitball all night here.
Well, I was going to say.
Wait a second. Some of us got better things to do than sit around recording all day.
I can't understand a word in here. Why do we all have to talk at once?
He's right, I think we ought to get on with it.
All right, number 8. What do you say? You're the only one holding up the show.
I've got a proposition. I want to call for a vote. I want you 11 to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take the guilty verdict right there.
That sounds fair, does everyone agree? All right, pass these around, write your vote on them, and return them to me, please. Please fold your ballot and return it to me when you're done. Do I have everyone's? All right, let's see where we're at. Guilty. 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 Not guilty. Guilty.
How do you like that?
Who was it? I think we have a right to know.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot. We agreed on this point, no? If the gentleman wants it to remain a secret,
What do you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. What's the matter with you? You come in here and you vote guilty, and then this slick creature starts to tear your heart out with stories about a poor little kid who just didn't involve becoming a murderer. So you change your vote. If that isn't the most sickening... Hold it. We're trying to put a guilty man into the chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden we're paying attention to fairy tales.
please, I would like to say something here. I have always thought that a man in this country is entitled to have unpopular opinions. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree. In my own country, I am ashamed to say that.
What do we have to listen to the whole history of your country?
Yeah, let's get to the subject. Now, I want to ask you something. What made you change your mind?
There's nothing for him to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did. Maybe you'd like to know why.
No. We wouldn't like to know why.
Man wants to talk.
Thank you. This gentleman chose to stand alone against him. That's his right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. He left the word up to us. He gave him first support, and I gave him support. I want to hear more. So,
Fine, the speech is over. Let's go on.
Look, buddy, I was a little excited. Well, you know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty, nothing personal.
Look, supposing you ask me this. Who did?
As far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the Royal trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Everyone's a lawyer. Supposing you explain what your reasonable doubts are?
This is not easy. So far, it's only a feeling I have. A feeling. You have to feel understand.
Bill, what are we going to do? Spend the night talking about your skills? What the facts?
You said a mouthful. Look, the old man heard the kill yell, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard the father's body falling, and he saw the boy running out of the house 15 seconds after that.
That's right. Let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it. No, that's not enough for you.
It's not enough for me.
How do you like it? Like talking to a brick wall.
The woman saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevated train. The train had 5 cars. She thought saw it through the windows of the last 2. She remembers the most insignificant details.
Well, what have you got to say about that?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, supposing you think about it. Lend me your pencil. Your turn. Might as well pass the time. Wait a minute.
This isn't a game.
Who do you think you are?
All right, let's take it easy.
I've got a good mind to walk around this table with belts in one.
Now, come on, there are no fights in here. Let's get on with it.
Did you see him? The nerve. The absolute nerve.
All right, forget it. Doesn't mean anything.
How about sitting down?
This isn't a game. Who does he think he is?
Take a look at that sketch. How long does it take an elevated train going at top speed past Gibbon Point?
What does that have to go? What does that have to do with anything?
How long? Yes.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Number 5, what do you think?
I don't know, about 10, 12 seconds maybe.
I'd say that was a fair guess. Anyone else?
I would think about 10 seconds, perhaps.
About 10 seconds.
All right, say 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out the window of that room and touch the L, right? All right, now let me ask you this. Did anyone here ever live right next to the L tracks? I have. When your window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. We'll get to the point.
The old man heard the voice say, "I'm going to kill you." And 1 second later, he heard the body fall. 1 second. That's the testimony, right?
Right?
The woman across the street looked out through the windows of the last 2 cars of the elevated train and saw the body fall, right? The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here?
An L takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L has been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds and maybe more before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," while the front of the yell was roaring past his nose. It's not possible that it could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure he could have heard it.
Could he?
He said the boy yelled it out. That's enough for me.
I don't believe it, Bert. Maybe he didn't hear it. I mean, with the yell noise.
What are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar?
Well, that stands to reason.
You're crazy. Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe?
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't we send one into the newspaper?
Why might the old man lie? You have a right to be heard.
It's just that I looked at it for a very long time. It seemed he was jacket was put under the arm. Did you notice that? He was a very old man with a short jacket. And he carried 2 canes. I think I know him better than anyone here. This is quiet, frightened, and seems to be near. Lived in London all his life. But never had recognition. His name is newspaper. Everybody knows him after 75 years. That's a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, should be questioned, and listened to, including testimony. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us he lied about something like this just to make you guilty?
No, he wouldn't really lie, but perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
Well, that's the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How can you make up a thing like that? What do you know about it?
I speak from experience.
All right, number 8. Is there anything else?
Anybody want a cough drop?
Come on, let's go.
I'll pay for it.
Now, there's something else I'd like to point out. I think it's true that the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." But supposing he really did say it. This phrase, how many times have each of you heard it? Probably hundreds. You do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him. We say it every day. This doesn't mean we're going to kill someone.
Wait a minute. The phrase was, "I'm gonna kill you." And this kid screamed it out at the top of his lungs. Don't try and tell me he didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that the way he said it, they mean it.
But how they hear this?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood would hear it? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Right. He's a common ignorant slop. You don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, the vote is now 9-3 in favor of guilty.
Well, this isn't the end. What do you think more? To prove that this guy beat up, you don't have to live extra checks a month, make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer. Why didn't the lawyer give him all these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Oh, brother. You sit here and post stories on a thin air. Now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get up out of his bed, run to the door, to see the kid beaten downstairs for 15 seconds after the killing. So they say that to be important?
Did the young man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? Got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could run.
He said he went from his bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Where was his bedroom again?
That was nowhere. What do you remember? Don't you remember that?
No. Mr. Foreman, I'd like to look at the diagram of the apartment.
Why don't we have them run the entire trial so you can get everything right?
Mr. Foreman,
I hear you. It's right here.
All right, here we go again. How come you're the only one in the room who wants to see exhibits all the time?
I want to see this one too.
And I want to stop wasting time.
We're going to start waiting for all that nonsense about where the body was found.
you're not. We're going to find out how a man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years, who walked with a pair of canes, gets to his front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
How does he know how long 15 seconds is? You can't judge that kind of a thing.
He said 15. He was very positive about it.
He's an old man. You saw him. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything?
Let me look.
All right. This is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. Here are the L tracks, the bedroom, living room, bathroom, kitchen, and this is the hall, and the front door to the apartment, and here are the steps. Now, the old man was in bed in this room. He says he got up, went out into the hall, down the hall to the front door, opened it, and looked out just in time to see the boy racing down the stairs. Am I right?
That's the story.
15 seconds after he heard the body call.
Correct.
His bed is at the window. It's 12 feet from his bed to the bedroom door. The length of the hall is 43 feet, 6 inches. He had to get up out of bed, get his cane, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet, and open the front door all in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
You know it's possible. He can only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness chair in the courtroom.
You make it sound like it's a long walk. It's not.
For an old man who uses canes, it's a long walk.
What are you doing?
I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took me. I'm going to pace off 12 feet, the length of the bedroom.
You're crazy. You can't recreate a thing like that.
Perhaps if we could see it, this is an important point.
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Let him do it.
Hand me a chair. All right. This is the bedroom door. Now, how far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
I'd say it was 20 feet.
Just about.
20 feet is close enough. All right. From here to the door and back is about 40 feet. It's shorter than the length of the hall. Wouldn't you say that?
A few feet, maybe?
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you're creative or think like that?
Do you mind if I try it? According to you, it would only take 15 seconds. You can spare that. Who's got a walk with the second hand?
I have.
When you want me to start, stand your foot. That'll be the body form. Time you from there. Let's say he keeps his canes right at his bedside. Right?
Right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Speed it up! You walk twice as fast as that.
This is, I think, even more quick speed than the man walked in the courtroom.
You want me to walk faster, I will. Stop.
Right?
What's the time?
15, 20, 30, 31 seconds exactly.
It's my guess that the old man was trying to get to the door, heard someone racing downstairs, and assumed it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assume. Now listen to me, people. I've seen all kinds of dishonesty in my day, but this little display here takes the cake. Tell them, will you? You come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about slum kids and injustice, and you make up these wild stories, and you've got some soft-hearted old ladies listening to you. Well, I'm not. I'm getting real sick of it. What's the matter with you people? This kid is guilty. He's got to burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers here.
Our fingers. Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you'd bet I'd like to pull a switch.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start with me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch?
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up!
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts.
Shut up! I'm gonna kill him. Let me go. I'm gonna kill him.
You don't really mean that you'll kill me, do you?
What are you looking at?
Come on, gentlemen, let's get back to this.
I don't see why we have to behave like children here.
Nor do I. We have a responsibility. This is a remarkable thing about democracy, that we are, what is the word? Notified. That we are notified by mail to come down to a place like this and decide on the guilt or innocence of a man we have not yet known. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is one of the reasons that we are strong. We should not make this a personal thing.
Yeah, well, we're still nowhere. He's got an idea.
I think maybe we should try another vote. Mr. Foreman?
Sorry with me, anybody doesn't want to vote?
All right, let's do it.
Wait, I want to open ballot. Let's call out our votes. I want to know who stands where.
That sounds fair. Anybody object? All right, I'll call you off by jury number. I still vote guilty. Number 2,
Not guilty.
number 3,
Guilty.
number 4,
Guilty.
number 5,
Not guilty.
number 6,
Not guilty.
number 7,
Guilty?
number 8,
Not guilty.
number 9,
Not guilty.
number 10,
Guilty.
number 11,
Not guilty.
number 12.
Guilty. I'll tell you something. The crime is being committed right in this room.
The vote is now 6 to 6.
6 to 6.
I swear to God, I'm ready to walk into court right now and declare a hung jury. There's no point in this going on any further.
Yeah, I'll go for that too. Let's take this into the judge, let the kid take chances to other guys.
You still don't think there's any room for reasonable doubt?
No, I don't.
I
I beg your pardon. Maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand it? What do you think you are to talk to me like that? How do you like him? Comes over here running for his life before he has time to take a big breath. Over here telling us how we're on the show. Eric,
Wait a second. Nobody around here is asking where you came from.
I was born right here.
Or where your father came from. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to take a few tips from people who come running here. Maybe they learned something we don't know. We're not so perfect.
Please, I'm used to this. It's all right.
It's not all right.
All right. I apologize. Is that what you want?
That's exactly what
Let's stop the arguing, please. You've got something constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little. This whole business about the stabbing and how it's being down with England, you know?
Don't tell me we're gonna start that. They went over it and over it in court.
I know they did, but I don't go along with it. The boy is 5 feet 8 inches tall. His father was 6 feet. That's a difference of 6 inches. It's a very awkward thing to stab down to the chest of someone who's half a foot taller than you are.
Look, you're not going to be satisfied until you see it again. I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. Is that about 6 inches?
That is about more than 6 inches.
All right, let it be more.
It's not funny. What's the matter with you?
Now just calm down. Nobody's hurt, are they?
No, nobody's hurt.
All right, there's your angles. Down, take a look at it, down and in. That's how I stab a taller man in the chest, and that's how it was done. Take a look at it and tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
You never stabbed a man.
Of course not.
Did you?
All right, let's not be silly.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Where do you get all your information about how it's done?
What do you mean? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen a man stabbed?
No.
All right, I want to ask you something. The boy was an experienced knife fighter. He was even sent to reform school for knife fighting. Is that so? What is this? Doesn't it seem like an altered way to handle a knife?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a minute. What's the matter with you? Give me that.
Have you seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
In the movies?
In my backyard on my street. The vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood I lived in. Funny to think about it before. I guess you try to forget those things. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife has never said, you don't handle a switch knife that way. Use it underhand.
But you couldn't have made the kind of wound which killed his father.
No, I couldn't have. Not if you had any experience with switch knives.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I. You're giving us some mumbo.
What do you think, number 12?
Well, I don't know.
What about you, number 7?
Listen, I'll tell you something. I'm a little sick of this already. We're going nowhere fast. Break it up and go home. She's my what's not good here.
You're what?
Good. Have enough.
What do you mean you've had enough? It's not an answer.
I think perhaps you are right. This is not an answer. What kind of a man are you? You have sat here and voted guilty with everyone else because there are some baseball tickets burning a hole in your pocket. Now you have changed your vote for the same reason. I do not think you have the right to play with a man's life like this. This is an ugly and terrible thing to do.
All right, now wait a minute. You can't talk to me like that.
I can't talk to you like this. If you want to vote not guilty, then do it because you are convinced that the man is not guilty. If you believe he is guilty, then do it that way. Or do you have the guts to do what is right?
All right, now listen.
Is it guilty or not guilty?
I told you, not guilty.
Why?
I have to tell you nothing.
You have to say it. Why?
I don't think he's guilty.
I want another vote.
Okay, there's another vote call for. I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anyone object? All right. All those voting not guilty, raise your hand. 9. All those voting guilty. Gentlemen, the vote is now 9 to 3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. You believe this kid is innocent. Look, you know how good people are. I don't have to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. But let me tell you, they don't need any real big reason to kill someone. You know, they get drunk
things about the community. Look, I'm the first one to say that. I've known a few of them who are pretty decent. But that's the exception. Most of them, it's like they have no feelings.
Are you serious?
They can do anything. What's going on here? I'm speaking my piece, and you're listening to me. They're no good. There's not one of them who's any good. You better watch out. Take it from me. Because his trial. Well, don't you know about them? Listen to me. What are you doing? I'm trying to tell you something.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to split your skull. All right, sit down, everybody. I still believe the boy is guilty of murder, and I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence was given by the woman across the street who claimed she actually saw the murder committed.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
All right, let's go over her testimony. What exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. She said she went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night. The bed was next to the open window, and she could look out the window while lying down and see directly into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, she turned towards the window at about 12:10, and as she looked out, she saw the boy stab his father. As far as I can see, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
Frankly, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal.
Well, maybe, but there's just so much evidence to sit.
What do you mean, maybe? He's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling.
What time is it?
10 minutes of 6.
It's late. You don't suppose they let us go home and finish in the morning. I've got a kid this month.
Not a chance. Pardon me, number two. Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly. Why?
I don't know. Look, this may be a dumb thought, but what do you do when you wake up at night and want to know what time it is?
What do you mean? I put on my glasses and look at the clock.
You don't wear them to bed?
Of course not. No one wears eyeglasses to bed.
Well, I was thinking, you know the woman who testified that you saw the killing wears glasses?
Yeah, so is my grandmother. So what?
Your grandmother is a murder witness.
Look, stop me if I'm wrong. This woman wouldn't wear her eyeglasses to bed now, would she?
Wait a minute, did she wear glasses?
Of course she did. The woman wore bifocals. I remember this very clearly because they looked very strong.
That's right. Bicycles. She never took them off.
She did wear glasses. Funny. I never thought of it.
Listen, she wasn't wearing them in bed, that's for sure. She testified that in the midst of a tossing and turning, she rolled over and looked casually out the window. The murder was taking place as she looked out, and the light went out a split second later. She couldn't have had time to put on her glasses. Now, maybe she honestly thought that she saw the boy kill his father. I say that she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does he know all these things?
Anyone still think there is not a reasonable doubt?
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else?
No, I'm convinced.
You're alone.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. I have a right.
You have a right.
Well, what do you want? I say he's guilty.
You want your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
You're not convinced. You want to hear them again. You have as much time as it takes.
Everything, every single thing that came out in that courtroom, I mean everything, says that boy is guilty. Do you think I'm an idiot or something? You lousy bunch of bleeding hearts? You aren't going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. I can sit in this goddamn room for a year. Somebody say something. Why don't you take the stuff about the old man who lived there? He heard everything. Or take the knife. What, just because he found just like it? The old man saw him, right there on the stairs. What's the difference how many minutes it took? What's the difference? The knife falling through a hole in his pocket. You can't prove that he didn't get to the door. You can hobble around the room all you like, but you can't prove it. I'm telling you, every single thing that went on has been twisted and turned in here. Now the business with her glasses. How do you know she didn't have them on? How? The woman testified in court. What do you want? That's it. That's the whole case. The whole thing about hearing the boy yell, the phrase, "I'm gonna kill you," that's what he said to his own father. I don't care what kind of a man that was. It was his father. Goddamn rotten kid, I know what they are like, what they do to you, how they kill you every day. My God, don't you see? How come I'm the only one who does? I can feel the knife going in.
It's not your boy. Somebody else's.
Let him live.
All right, not guilty.
Thank you, John. First of all, we would like to thank Mr. Seeley, Mr. Knoll, Mr. Del Carlo, Mr. Schnittman, who did a lot of our props for us, and my bowling team who moved all of these chairs. Thank you to all of you. I said at the beginning that there are many themes that are presented in this play that mirror things that we've been going through in school and as a society. Things that we're all struggling with. What are some of the things that you heard that came through for you? Anybody? The sense of guilt, good.
It's extremely important to look at all sides when you make a decision.
Good, so look at all sides of something before you make a decision. Lisa?
With the concept of racism that we saw with juror number 10, how we know a lot of his things were anticipated by how we looked up.
Right. Obviously, number 10 was bigoted toward Hispanic people, and so that framed his judgment from the beginning. Andre?
Reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt. So, feeling definitively that someone is guilty versus having a little ambivalence, not sure whether the... Good. Now letting your emotions cloud your judgment. Judy? Good. Acceptance of all those ideas. Anything else? Good. Examine all the facts before. There's one that nobody mentioned that I think is a really strong theme or quality in this play, and that is leadership. My character in the play, the foreman, is technically the person who's in charge of the jury. But as you probably realize very quickly, someone else really takes over the leadership role, and that's juror number 8. Because of his doubts, but also because of his conviction that he's right, he has the moral bearing to be able to stand up, stand on his principles, and slowly but surely lead the whole rest of the jury to the same conclusion, even though at the beginning everyone was against him. Those qualities are things that we want you to think about for the rest of the day, and they are these. A leader is someone who has the ability to speak out, take a risk, act on his convictions. A leader has the ability to stand on an issue even if there's no support. A leader has the ability to break from the crowd or be a role model for the crowd, even if it's unpopular. And a leader has the ability to act on or voice a concern on the behalf of others or be an advocate for others, even if they don't feel they have a voice. So based on the evidence that was presented at the beginning of the play, if you had been on this jury, how many of you would have found him not guilty at the beginning? Not guilty. Not many, right? So the evidence looked pretty solid. This kid had killed his father, he had a record, he had been to juvie before. But slowly but surely, by picking out very small little details that throughout the whole trial everybody had overlooked, number 8 was able to convince everybody else not that he wasn't guilty, because it's never decided whether he's guilty or not. But he gets a vote of not guilty because there was enough reasonable doubt that the jury could not unanimously find him guilty. Last question I want to ask you. Mr. Schnittman put some flyers around the school a couple days ago. What reaction did you have to those when you first saw them?
I was very confused.
Confused. How many people were confused by it? How many people figured out what it was about by the time you got here today? Good. So keep that in mind, because one of the things we're going to ask you to do at the end of today, at the end of our breakout sessions, or in our second breakout session, is we're going to ask you to create a public service announcement. Each advisory group is going to create a public service announcement. Either in print in terms of like making a poster or flyer like we had around the school, or using iMovie or your phones to make a short 30-second or 1-minute PSA. You're going to pick a topic that we've been talking about all along in terms of honor council. So prejudice, justice, cheating, stealing, lying, being honest on the positive side. You're going to pick, as each advisory group, you're going to pick one of those topics, and you're going to make a public service announcement that we can share with the rest of the school to continue to help build some awareness about these issues. If you don't know what a public service announcement is, think friends don't let friends drive drunk, or Smokey Bear helps prevent forest fires. So you're going to use your creativity as an advisory group to create a public service announcement, and then you're going to drop them in a Google Doc, or you're going to turn them in to me or your leader, and then we will disseminate them through the school as time goes on to help continue to raise awareness about these issues. In case you haven't figured it out yet, after the break, which we're going to go on in a few minutes, you're going to go